Good evening, race fans, and welcome along to round number 9. There we go, of the Simverse.com LMU Pro Series here at LFM. My name is John Wright, and I'll be taking us through all of our action this evening from our little dalliance around the English countryside. It is Silverstone on the cards for the drivers this evening in the GT3s and the hypercars. Oh, that is the results that we're on. Of course, we're on ×2 tyre wear tonight for our 60-minute race. A usual modifier over the series. Normal fuel consumption will be applied. We'll see how the drivers get on. We'll see if any of them go for a no-stopper again. They've certainly kept it interesting so far this season. Of course, as I say, it's Silverstone this week after Monza last week. We've got Sebring, Interlagos, and the 145-minute race at Le Mans to round out the series. That is when the prizes will be decided, potentially before actually. We'll get a look at the standings in a moment. €500 voucher courtesy of Moza for the Simverse.com website. €750 by Next Level Racing for second place, and for first €1,250 from Thrustmaster for our series champion. Of course, last time out, I've got them both up on screen there, my apologies. But yeah, last time out in the GT3s, as we can see, it was Nicholas Hoban once again bringing home a race win ahead of Marin Bisser in second, and David Roncano finishing up in third place in the Lamborghini. He finished ahead of Nascadasville and Eder, fourth and fifth. Michael Frey back in the Porsche, he was in sixth position. It was Clemens Keusel, Joseph Keufel, Valentino Alderissio and Adrian Pastrana that rounded out the top 10 in the GT3s around Monza. In the hypercars, it was Arda Erkin bringing home another win ahead of Tobias Grunwald. Sheo Sullivan making an appearance last week, and on the podium no less, third place for him. Sven Gielhut in fourth, ahead of Marco Bischoff and Patrick Bachmeier in fifth and sixth position. Michi Hoyer in seventh, Gabor Port in eighth, with Lucas Bachmeier in ninth place. Micah Petouche rounding out the top 10, getting himself ahead of Tim Flake, Franginio, David Tepper, Cornier, Partey and Siebel. Of course, all importantly, what has that done to the standings? Well, in the GT3s, as we can see, unsurprisingly, it's Nicholas Hoban leading the way. 6,000 points he's accrued so far. That, of course, from his 6 race wins out of the 8 races he has taken part in so far. David Nascadasvili, no stranger to a win himself. He does have one under his belt. He's in second, Joseph Keufel third, Koinzel Fuchs rounding out the top 5 in the current standings. David Roncano, after a good result last week, sees himself up to 8th position. Christopher Melchart and Sasha Fritz are rounding out the top 10 for the GT3s. In the hypercars is Arda Erkan, another win under his belt. That's 5 so far from 8. Not too shabby is showing in the hypers. He is, of course, leading the way ahead of Sven Gielhut and Alex Siebel. Marco Bischoff up in 4th place ahead of Patrick Bachmeier, and Tim Flake in 6th. He'll be looking to bounce back after last week's race. Micah Petouche in 7th, and Kobe Chan, who didn't finish in the top 10 last week, in fact hasn't been here for the last few weeks, he's now dropped down to 8th position after 2 wins early in the season. David Tepper and Eduardo Alvarez rounding out the top 10. We'll see how they got on. Of course, Tobias Grunwald, he's only raced in 4 races, has featured on and around the podium at all 4. He's down in 21st position, 4 more points paying rounds to go, so could well still be in the hunt for top 10 honours, that is for sure. Let's see, the drivers, I believe, are indeed out on track. We seem to be having a minor issue with the overlay. Bear with me a moment. Yeah, so the drivers are out in qualifying. Sorry, my apologies. We'll get some telemetry up on screen in a moment. Minor technical hitch in the background. They do like to pop their head up. And there we go. Apologies, yep, just trying to get the live timing working. We should have it up in a moment or two. For some reason, I seem to be having multiple issues. Let's just get this sorted. Yeah, apologies. Any moment now we should have this up and running again. It is being a bit temperamental for apparently no reason at all. And nope, that has not copied correctly, which is unfortunate. So yeah, apologies. I'm not sure why we are not getting the telemetry on the screen. As you can tell, there are cars out. They are in qualifying. There is fastest laps being set. Arda Erkan is up at the top of the timing towers for the Hypers. Clements Coinsel with the 158.2 leading the way in the GT3s at the moment. Yeah, let's watch some GT3s go round as well. Apologies. Let me just see if I cannot get this running again. Apologies, folks. Yes, I am still here. Yes, sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to get the telemetry up on screen, and for some reason, it just will not come through. It is very strange. It doesn't seem to be showing. Goodness. Okay, we might just do something a bit different again. Apologies for this. We will have coverage of everything that's going on. It's Nicholas Holman, who's currently on screen. I'm just going to try and get some of the telemetry up for everyone to actually see what's going on. So bear with me a moment or two. Okay, there we go. Big shout out to Pixelcast. We'll be using his coverage. We'll need to give him a shout out. Not a lot of horns going in the garage. They do like to do that. So let's just kill the game sound and jump back to the studio. Apologies for the delay in coverage there, but it does look like, yes indeed, it is qualifying done and dusted. It's Tobias Grunwald that's taking the top spot in the hypercars with a 42.4. Justin Stubenrauch making an appearance this week, a 42.6. He's just done. Championship leader Arda Erkan in third place, Sven Gielhud in fourth, and Alex Siebel in fifth place. Roth and Hoyer sixth and seventh. Party, Bischoff and Deschamps round out the top 10. And it is Team Nitro top spot lockout once again. Nicholas Hoban taking the honours in the GT3 cars with a 1 minute 58.5. Ahead of Manuel Fuchs and Joseph Koipel. Corbini and Windell with another good qualifying, starting in 7th position. Schneckenberger starting in 8th ahead of Waster and Florence. David Rancano just outside the top 10. He's going to start in 11th position. And yet the cars are starting to grid up, so we should in fact yeah, there we go. There is the confirmed results on screen. Yeah, so that's the rundown of the qualifying. As you can see, the car, or that's the cars now on their formation lap. There we go. Just a few bits and pieces to sort before we get the race up and running. Welcome into everyone that is tuning in. Of course, we've got the joint chat on with the German channel as well. But do jump in and say hello. Let's see. Start there. No, we are all good. So it's going to be the hypercars that take us off and running around here. The absolute classic, the all-time classic that is Silverstone. The drivers will know this like the absolute back of their hand. We'll see how much that helps or hinders them tonight, and there's going to be a lot of commitment on the curves. Oh, and they're already off and running the hypercars, getting a very, very, very good start up at the front. They're going to go 3 wide up at the front, 2 rows indeed, the 2 Falcons. Absolutely on top of one another. Tobias Grunwald running massively wide there, but Justin Stubenrauch running even wider as he moves his way up into the lead side by side, just behind as well on the way into Maggots and Beckett's. As you can see, very close there. Oh, and that's some nice concertinaing that's going on. It's beautiful move there by Alvarez to hold that on the inside. He's going off the outside, heading onto the back straight. And the GT3s, there's been some big changes there, in fact. Let me just get rid of that. Yeah, position delta. Perfect. There we go. So, yeah. Tobias Grunwald is down a position, but... oh, no, sorry. Nicholas Hoban It says he started from 4th place, but he took pole position. That is very strange. Besser is leading the way in the Lexus from Coinsel, so they have swapped positions, and Nastigasvili did indeed start in 3rd place. Up at the front, Justin Stubenrich with an absolute worldie of a start sees himself now half a second ahead of Tobias Grunwald, Sven Gielhut, 3rd in the championship, and currently 3rd out on track as well, but he does have Alex Siebel very close indeed, and Arta Erkan not too far behind either. Mitchie Hoyer making a good start, so too Marco Bischoff. These both making advances through the field. Bischoff with 2 spots, so Team Nitro certainly a mixed bag for them so far. No real huge drops down the field. Mirak Party, my apologies, down 3 positions, and Robin Deschamps as well losing 3 at the start. I think we could clearly see why that was, given how close and competitive it was through Maggots and Beckett and Chapel for the first time. Gielhut setting the fastest lap, tucked firmly into the slipstream, and Alex Siebel in fact all over the back of Tobias Grunwald as we get our way into the 2nd lap. It's amazing the difference in pace between the hypercars and the GT3s through these corners. It is very impressive indeed. Let me just see if we can't move that slightly. Excellent. Oh, and I tell you what, this is going to be a good look up the inside. He's heavy on the brakes, and Gielhut does find himself overtaken there. Did he put up too much of a battle? Saw that one coming potentially, and fancies a crack at getting a slingshot past the competitor that's just gone past him. You can see just behind there, Mitchie Hoyer is leading a gaggle of cars. He's got Bischoff, Roth, Alvarez, Bachmeier and Butsen all very much in close attendance, and Partey as well, who dropped down at the start of the race. You can see he is not too far off this group, so quite a few positions could be gained there if he can keep his powder dry. See what goes on ahead, and not to be outdone, the GT3s have got a bigger train of cars further up the field. It's Nicholas Hoban who is just about leading the way here. He has got David Nastigasvili ahead of him. Nastigasvili's got a 1.3 to make up ahead, and in 1.3 seconds behind he's got 5 cars. You absolutely cannot beat it. Sasha Wassner in this group as well. Himself and Max Florence have both gotten their way past Wendell, who's down 3. Rancano still hanging on to 11th position, but he's got Louis Barto. When I say hanging on, I do mean hanging on, because there is Louis Barto in the Lamborghini, and that is some very quick cornering he's doing through those through sector number 3. I'm just checking the field. Arda Erkan and Sven Gielhut are getting very close indeed. 4/10 of a second there. Marco Bischoff right still on the back of Mitchie Hoyer. These two again making up positions at the start. Sasha Wassner with those 2 spots up in his Mercedes, he's up to 7th place. Biggest mover in the top 10 so far, but he does have Schneckenberger and Florence very close behind him. In fact, Schneckenberger looking very racy into turn number 1 indeed, and the McLaren behind could be gifted a couple of positions here. Max Florence will not be overly adverse to these two battling the way they are. Let's get some onboard shots from inside the McLaren. Oh, very nicely done again. The drivers do like to make sure they get as much curb as possible through here. They absolutely need to. Oh, is that maybe a bit much on the left hand side there? We'll see the Mercedes. Yep, just edge that gap out a bit further. We're going to need to go aerial to see what happens here, because it is absolutely nip and tuck. Oh, and it's tucking the way of the Mercedes at the moment, certainly. Nastigasvili, he's had some very good races so far this season, and he's going to need to be absolutely on the ball, and he's going to hold on to the spot here. Bisser up at the front of the GT3 field, but he might not be there for long, because Coinsel, who apparently started in first position, not sure why the qualifying said third, but it's Coinsel who took pole position to start with. Stubenrich with a 44.2. He's moving quickly. And in fact, the hypercars, a few of them have spread out a bit. Erkan and Gielhut still very close. Bischoff, Hoyer, and Marvin Butsen, in fact, my apologies, he is right in the hunt for this one. I'll tell you what, Marco Bischoff, he would have fancied his chances of getting a good battle with Mitchie Hoyer, it looks like. Butsen is about to get himself involved. It's the first time I've seen him racing here. Sim RC Endurance, they've got some quick drivers, to be fair. I certainly remember them from the ACC days, and yeah, it brings back memories actually. Sim RC battling against Team Nitro. Oh, and I tell you what, that's a good run up the inside there. Bishop, he's almost hung himself out to dry, did not look convincing on the curve. Oh, and he's locked up! He's absolutely locked up the car. Butson locks up, collects the back of Marco Bishop. Sorry, following over my words there. And that is a huge yeah, full lock up. The car just kicked. Which we could clearly see, and that has taken the two of them absolutely out of contention. Well, maybe, yeah, there seems to be a bit much camera shake. That will have to be changed. Up at the front of the hypercars, Bishop's teammate Tobias Grunwald still defending from Alex Siebel to hold on to second place after being overtaken by Stubenrug. Stubenrug is absolutely flying. He's 1.8 seconds ahead of the rest of the hypercar field, and that gap is not reducing anytime soon. As he goes purple again with a 43.7. Arda Erkan still having himself a rare old time with Sven Gielhood, the two Falcon cars. Oh, bit of a wiggle on the exit there. Oh, and interesting actually, yeah, let's check out the tyres. Because we had seen, thanks to the power of Pixelcast, we can see exactly what tyres the drivers have got on. You can see in the hypercars, once again, some major variations. The yellow circles are the mediums, the red circles are hard tyres, and that's actually indicated. Oh, there we go. Beautiful slipstream manoeuvre, or the two of them just decided to swap positions, take turns putting pressure on their tyres. But as you can see, good mix of tyres. Alex Siebel, the most medium tyre of any hypercar. The GT3s, unsurprisingly, straight shot, full medium tyres. No mixing and matching in there, but certainly a few of the hypercars thinking the front left, that's certainly front right, my apologies, seems to be the favourable tyre as far as the mediums go. Back right. Yeah, in fact, not many medium tyres on there. But certainly the front right is one that the drivers don't see a lot of wear going to it. So that's the one that's got the medium on it mostly. We've got Joseph Koifel still closing in on Nicholas Hoban, Manuel Fuchs, Sasha Wassner, and Lucas Sneckenberger still very much in the hunt. Corbinian Wendelner finds himself in 10th position, and David Rancano, after a podium last week, is looking to get his way at least into the top 10 this week at the expense of Wendell. He does have Louis Barto still running in 12th position where he started, within 3/10. The Lambo goes for a late send up the inside. There's a little bit of contact on the way through there, and that is a sketchy one. It was a long way back he came from. Wendell might be about to lose another position because Louis Barto is going to go round the outside of him. He's going to hold the apex here, and onto the newly named Hamilton Straight. It's going to be a bit of a drag race that Rancano is going to see in his rear view mirror. Wendell now under serious pressure. The Fisher Racing Challengers driver has certainly been challenged there, and Louis Barto sneaks his way through. Black Nitro Racing with a very good overtake there. We've actually got another battle with Fabian Roth and Lucas Bachmeier in the hypercars. We've seen a lot going on here. Is this set up for the cutback? Oh, he's certainly the quicker through the corner, and that is a very good exit. Another Fisher Racing driver getting involved in some action. They're bringing Top Racing's Eduardo Alvarez into this as well. Alvarez, like his teammate in the GT3s, just outside the top 10, although Rancano, is in the top 10 now, of course, getting that move done on Barto. And is that a position changing as well between Manuel Fuchs? It might well have been. I think Fuchs and Florence. I think Fuchs has lost a bit of time there. I think he's just lost the position at Wassner. And Florence will stay on board with this battle here through the Village Complex and onto the Wellington Straight. They've got that Aston Martin tearing away ahead of them. He's cutting through the air. Love the sound of that thing flying past the camera. Absolutely cannot be an Aston Martin hypercar. Oh well, apparently you can if you're Tobias Grunwald in the gang. They are much further ahead at the moment. Fisher Racing out of the last corner. They're well and truly tucked in the slipstream. I did see there was a battle between Waster, Schneckenburger, and Manuel Fuchs has now been overtaken by another driver, so he's lost another position. Schneckenburger has gone past, so I think Fuchs might have had a bit of an issue. Nothing showing there. If he has, he's fixed it. Let's see what Alex Siebel can do. Another battle that we've got going on. Love to see it now they're involved in the traffic. Oh, and it's a lock-up. Tobias Grunwald has locked that one up massively. He's ended up going straight across the grass. He finally gets back on track, but it's too little too late as Alex Siebel does indeed go past. I really need to get that camera shake sorted, I feel. But yeah, that is Tobias Grunwald locking up, finding himself across the grass and entering the Hamilton straight, the absolute last way that you want to do so. And there is Siebel off and running. That's put Grunwald 1.8 seconds down and well within sight. He's got another GT3 just ahead of him, well within sight of Arda Erkan, who has gotten his way past Galehood. So these two have swapped places and are now only down one spot each. As I'm looking at Nicholas Holborn and David Nasgrasvili, that's within 410. Joseph Teufel and his Iron Dames Porsche is well in the slipstream there as well. As we head through turn number 1, here comes the Fisher Racing hypercar. Makes his way past very nicely indeed. Sasha Wasner now 2 seconds down on Teufel. The battle and the traffic taking its toll on their advances towards the top 5. Schneckenburger 8 tenths down on Fuchs, with David Rancano keen to increase his improvement so far. He started in 11th. You cannot interrupt the sound of those engines. Yeah, he is closing in on Manuel Fuchs, and the traffic certainly working in the favour of a few of the drivers. I was going to say he's not going to send it from there. Yeah, that would have been full air mail for what a basketball player would consider a brick, I would say. That would have caused issues. Oh, and the three of them have got very close. It's quite a battle between the Lamborghinis as more hypercars look to get themselves a bit of this action as well. We'll get on board with Rancano and see, there goes the hypercar. Oh, he thinks about it there. That would have been a brave manoeuvring if that's what he decided to do. Ooh, there we go, heading into the village complex. He's all over that inside curve, I'll tell you what. Oh, and he's making it easy for him. Goes for the cutback through the mid-corner, violently bouncing on the curb. It's unsettled his car. He's made contact, and that is just played right into the hands of Louis Barto, who's going to say 2 for 1. Yes, please. Look at the run he's got on the Wellington straight. Oh, and he's had to fall back in the line. He couldn't quite get that exit momentum. It did look like he had to take slight avoiding action, and sends it up the inside. Manuel Fuchs, he's not done with his battle. Oh, and he's ended up off. Manuel Fuchs has ended up off. It looked like from that angle. He did go for the move up the inside. He's taken contact. Rancano is down to 11th because Corbini and Wendell. Of course, it's as soon as I look over the telemetry, but he's gotten through. Sebastian Litzner has gotten through. Manuel Fuchs now finds himself down in 15th position. So that is a fall from grace, and David Rancano back to where he started in 11th. Corbini and Wendell back up to 10th place, where Louis Barto, he is, yeah, he's a happy driver right now. Up to 9th position. That's 3 places up. We've still got this incredible 3-way battle for the final 2 podium positions, which is now being encroached upon well and truly by the hypercars. Stubenrauk is 3.5 seconds ahead of the hypercar field. Siebel in second, Tobias Grunwald in third, Arda Erkan and Sven Galehood 4th and 5th, with Mitchie Hoyer in 6th position. It's spread out to say the least. The average gap up there is about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, with Galehood, the only driver, keeping that on the low side with a second behind Erkan. Fabian Roth and Marco Bischoff, before Bischoff dropping down the order after a just an innocent bystander, wrong place, wrong time. Car beside him locked up, and he found himself taking contact and in the wall. He is certainly taking the lead. Oh, there's been a tap there. Tim Flake's been spun. And Marco Bischoff, he gets himself a 2-for-1 through the village complex. Tim Flake gets himself a tap in the rear. Oh, and he's having an absolute nightmare. And that's another one of the GT3s come off. It was Marvin Butson that he made contact with. It also looked like one of the GT3s. I'm not sure it was though. Marin Bisser, completely unfazed by the rest of the traffic going on around him. He's setting the fastest laps in the GT3s. They are still a bit slower in qualifying, but we're down to bang on 2 minutes, 0.021. So all but 2 minutes. Tim Flake, he's already got that Aston Martin up and running himself, and Marvin... Oh no, sorry, it was Marvin Butson who made contact with someone earlier. But there was another hypercar involved, but that is Butson making back a position. It's been a long run back for him, but he's back up to 13th place. Flake all over the back of him though. He is not letting this one go anytime soon. Further up the field, it is still spread out in the hypercars. Still quite close on the podium, and in fact, there has been some movers and shakers there. Let's see if Tim Flake can get this one done around the outside. He's going to have to take the outside line now. He is fully committed. He is out there. How much room does Simverse leave? Yeah, absolutely bang on. They kept the right line there. Flake using as much of that exit curve as possible. It's not going to be enough for them to get past through the chicane. We are going to have to go back to the GT3s though, because this battle is now increased in size. We've got Schneckenberger, Florence and Waster have caught right back up to Koifel. Koifel was very close to Hoban a few seconds ago, but that gap has stretched to an almighty 1 second. So a gargantuan gap between them compared to where it's been. Wendell down in 12th place. So I think he's on another contact down in 12th. Lamprecht and Pastrana very close to him. So there's a three-way battle going on down in 12th place as well. But this is a four-way battle for 5th position and could well have an impact on the final podium position, given how close they are to Nicholas Hoban, who is still hanging firmly on to that rear spoiler of David Nascarasvili, who we can see in the foreground there. Tearing off into turn number 1. You can just about see the back of Clemens Kreutzl. Unlike Besser, no one in the GT3 class has seen the back of him at the moment. 6.3 seconds he's got over the rest of the field. So if Stubenreich was looking quick at the front of the hypercars, Marin Besser in that Lexus is laying on an absolute masterclass around Silverstone. Sasha Wassner could lay on an overtaking masterclass here. He's got to Joseph Koifel ahead of him, and they're losing time to the car ahead, although Schneckenberger as well. No, he stays firmly tucked in the slipstream. So a wily campaigner, you would say, Schneckenberger, staying firmly in the slipstream, especially when he's got the two cars directly ahead of him. They're getting very close, and they've got Tim Flake closing in on them as well. Onto the Hamilton straight we go, and Sasha not quite keeping pace. The Aston will just doesn't quite clear them all, so there we go. That gives Koifel an extra bit of breathing space once again. It does put Waster under extra pressure from Max Florence. And the Simverse cars tapped him. And the hypercars come worst off, and I'll tell you what, that's wrong place, wrong time for the Porsche as well. David Rancano has made it through. And that's more door banging going on. That is, I know that livery. Calet Racing. Of course that was Calet Racing. Manuel Fuchs is the driver that's right down in the back of the field. Adversario changing position with Oosterhouse as well. The battles are going on right through the field, and the traffic certainly helped keep it extra spicy. Louis Barto now finds himself in Schneckenberger 2 seconds adrift of this battle, where Max Florence is still doing the chasing, so too is Wassner. He's just run deep, so he's now dropped himself off the back of this battle. He's going to need a very good run to catch up. He's been dropped out with the slipstream at the worst possible time, Marvin Butson coming into the pits. Or he's requesting a pit stop, sir. We're 39 minutes gone. 39 minutes left, sorry. We've got 22 minutes of racing under our belt so far, so it is a bit of an early pit stop. And Butson has indeed come in. Running down the 15th, there he is in the pits. Alvarez is already back in his pit box, so he is out of the race. Let's look and see. Sorry, there we go. Sasha Waster once again. I think we get a decent rear view mirror. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this battle because it has been going for a while. We'll see who comes out on top, or who is still on top, sorry, when and if they come into the pits. I do think we'll see them popping in, although the 2 times tyre wear over an hour, that's going to be 2 hours on one set of rubber for the GT3s. That's going to be yeah, fun times. Fun times. The hypercars, as we saw, all mixes of tyres they've got, and in fact Butson has come back out on all mediums. So he's changed his tyre layout for the second half of the race, and he is going to be out slightly longer, of course, than he was for that first stint. So we'll see what his pace is like come the end of the session, which is still another 37 minutes away for him. Koifel now closing back up on Hoban. Hoban's actually lost some time. It has to be said. Yep, we need to do that first and then that. That's what I need to message him about. We've got Nascadasvili, no. It's now gone to 1.5, yeah, so more traffic. No, actually, no, there's not any traffic. My apologies, that is incorrect, although it's Tim Zupan. Right, yeah, Tim Zupan's just lost the car, actually. He was stationary on the side of the road. Big old engine backfire there. Confirmation that Alvarez is a DNF for this one. Where is Wassner? Let's stay with that one. Busser and Stubenrauch have got themselves a combined gap of 14 seconds. And the majority of that is with Busser. He is absolutely dialed in. Race Sport Team Elite GT, absolutely living up to the name up there at the front. Oh, Seaball just found a bit of time on Stubenrauch. Okay, so yeah, Stubenrauch is actually about to catch up. In fact, there he was in the background there, so that's him catching up to the GT3s once again. This is going to be an interesting dynamic for the drivers to deal with. We'll get some more gratuitous onboard rear view mirror shots. There we go. And we'll see what these three can do before the hypercar leader catches up to them, which is going to be very soon indeed. In fact, he's already onto the back of them. As you would expect, he's going to fly past them on the start-finish straight. They'll all be hoping. Oh, now, is he going to quite get there for turn one? No, he's not. There is the blue flag now, though, as you can see on the dashboard. So he is hiding behind there, so just after turn number one, so it doesn't affect any of these three overly directly. Weaves to the inside line, although not ideal there potentially for Joseph Koipel. He certainly would have liked to have been closer to that curb. You can see what that's done to the gap between himself and Wassner. That has gone Wassner's way through the first couple of corners. Oh, and that's very much gone his way. The sim racing god smiling down upon him this evening, and he's managed to hold on to that one. Absolute clean up on aisle 3. Here comes another hypercar making their way past through Chapel. That is very nicely done by all concerned, but especially by Wassner once again. He really does know how to get those exits nailed on. The Porsche will be sweating absolute bullets right now, as he is absolutely heaping on the pressure. And of course Florence and Schneckenberger right there in the hunt as well. Schneckenberger is so close, we can only temporarily see him behind Florence's car. That's how close he is to Florence. I've got another blue flag. Florence managed to avoid any disruption through the quick right-hander. And the hypercar clears them before they even get into the village complex. I tell you what, that could be a good, honest look up the inside. That's a bit of contact between the two of them through village. And the McLaren forced onto the outside line there by the hypercar coming through. And that was very nearly a move. And that is played. So the previous corners went the way of Wassner. That's gone the way of Koifel. Because that has opened up that gap. And that has given Max Florence a good, honest look at an overtake here in the final few corners. And potentially across the start-finish line, but if he does it there, he really needs to make sure he gets clear into turn number 1, or he is going to find the back of that black and pink Mercedes in front of him. He's sandwiched by Mercedes at the minute, and if he gets this wrong, he could find himself still sandwiched by Mercedes, but the two of them the other way around. Schneckenberger hanging in there, and yep, he has used that to his advantage massively. Mirek Partey, just a quick update there, he has managed to get back to where he started. So after a ropey start to the race, he not only sees himself back up to where he started, but certainly well in contact with Robin Deschamps, who Deschamps has made up 3 spots since the start of the race. So he's had a good start compared to his qualifying pace. He's running a bit higher than he was. Partey could hunt him down before they come into the pits. I don't think we've seen anyone else come in so far, confirmed. We have not. Let's see what sort of energy the drivers have got left. We are just short of the halfway mark of the race. The hypercar's running in the high 40%. So could well be a splash and dash. Marvin Butson, you would say, is a good marker of what the drivers are going to be taking on. Of course, he's taking his pit stop and he's at 64%. So you would think, yeah, a little 20% top up for the hypercars, and the GT3s, Nascadasvili and Clemens Kreutzl are all in a very good position. Hoban, Koifel, Wassner is on the bubble, as they say, 50.2% with 32 minutes left to go. He might need a bit extra slipstream assistance to get him to the race, a bit of short shifting while the cars in front do the work through the air. That's maybe what he's doing now. Race IQ 200. Sasha staying in the slipstream to save fuel. I certainly wouldn't put it past any of the drivers in the split. Oh no, there we go. Florence does come in. What was he sitting on? 47%. So yeah, he was unlikely to have made it to the end. Barto comes in as well, down on 44. Corbini and Mundell could go for a no-stopper. The rest of the cars around him will be coming in. Oh, I do love these races where it's a completely open pit strategy, and if you can get to the end on twice worn tyres, then yeah, go for it. The fuel saving will still need to be strong though. We're staying on board with Wassner, unsurprisingly. Himself, Koifel and Schneckenberger still the closest battle that we have on track. There is Patrick Bachmeier exiting the pits just shy of the halfway mark, so a straight 50-50 for him. No GT3s have been in so far. That's a couple of hypercars that have come in. Oh, Bartle has requested. I thought I saw a couple of cars coming in. Apparently not. The best lap so far held by the two lead drivers in their splits. 1 minute 43.7 as Stephen Wright goes with an even quicker 1:43.7. Oh, and that's a bit of a mistake there, and that is Joseph Koifel overtaken. As I was looking at the times, Koifel finds himself under double attack here and leaving the village complex and getting onto the Wellington straight. Oh, he's going to find himself potentially losing another spot. That Mercedes was bang where he needed to be on that exit there. Schneckenberger could be about to make it 2 and 3 corners. He does indeed. Not even a competition there. Marco Bischoff was out of control in his car not long ago. Nothing showing though. Yeah, what a terrible time to look away. Hopefully you all caught that on screen. I was looking over at the other screen with the data, but that is Koifel dropping 2 positions. Right, that is Louis Barto is now coming into the pit. Sorry, he requested a pit stop. That is him now coming in. There's confirmation that Alvasario is a DNF. So it's now the Porsche at the back of this little group. Nicholas Hoban 1.3 seconds ahead. That's Wassner up to 5th place, biggest gain in the entirety of the field. And yeah, quite the run up to P5. As I say, 1.3 seconds behind Nicholas Hoban, so we'll see if he can close up there and give Hoban something to think about before they come into pits. Yeah, see, they're going to be running it very close. They would think the GT3 49% now. There's about 49% of the race left, but if there is an extra they're going to go into emergency mode. It's a good thing you don't need to have fuel to drive the car back to the pit for inspection in sim racing. We certainly had an extra dynamic if we did. The fuel calculations, I'd imagine, would be somewhat different. Now let's see what's going on here. Arda Erkan and Tobias Grunwald. Half a second between these two, so yeah, Erkan has absolutely picked up the pace. We've seen some incredible battles between these two over the season, and certainly it's always been a race of two halves, or even a race of 4 quarters. I mean, it's more like a basketball match. We'll find one car dominates at the start of this first stint, and then someone comes back at the end of the first stint, then you've got the start of the second stint and the end of the second stint. It's been chopping and changing. And yeah, good graphic there. You can actually see the tyres, the 3 red hard tyres and 1 yellow medium tyre. So big changes there. Alex Siebel looks like he's got his tyre choice absolutely dialed in. I mean, Stubenrauch certainly belays that. He's got 3 hard tyres on. He's 6 seconds up the road, but Siebel with the 3 mediums, he has certainly made a getaway. So we'll see if he does suffer, if his pace does suffer. No, 44.3, so he's still running well halfway through. So with ×2 tyre wear, that's an hour's racing, over an hour's racing the tyres have gone through so far. And it is the second half, so 26 minutes and a whole lot of pit stops to go from round number 9 of the Simverse.com LMU Pro Championship. €1,250 up for grabs for our series winners in the Hypers and the GT3s, of course. Second and third well compensated as well with vouchers for the Simverse site. We'll see who is going to be running away with those in a few weeks' time. The standing certainly looking good for Nicholas Hoban, although 4th place here is certainly going to help a few drivers close the gap. Certainly Naskadashvili running close in the top 5. He is going to make a little bit of a gain. We're hoping Wassner can catch back up. At the moment though, it's Schneckenberger that is looking to do all the running. Joseph Koifel finding himself being dropped off the back of this battle. He was running right in with these two, now finds himself a second down. We'll see if he can close back up and make any impression on the two mighty monstrous Mercs ahead of him as they exit the final corner. Both coming past the pit straight. Across the line we go, and another racing lap is underway for the two Mercs. It's 17 laps so far for the GT3s, the GT3s are on lap 18 and the hypercars are on lap 20. And speaking of hypercars, there is the Sim RC machine once again, weaving his way through. So much more grip, it's absolutely wild. Adrian Prestrano coming in to the pits. In fact, I think he's already on his way out. No, he is in the pits. Oh, Manuel Fuchs is a DNF, so that is confirmed. Louis Barto back out after a long pit stop, down 4 spots. We'll see if he can get, or how many of those, sorry, he gets back when and if the cars around to come in. But we're going to go straight back to the GT3 battle here, because Schneckenberger was right to within a tenth of a second there, and Koifel is back to within a second, so he is not done with the two drivers ahead. That is the Aston Martin of Tim Flake in the foreground. Now, what a noise that makes, it's absolutely incredible. Just going past Nicholas Holborn in 4th place. And certainly an interesting development in the GT3s as well. Holborn and Naskadashvili are now 1.8 seconds apart, but there's only 9 tenths between Naskadashvili and Clements Kreutzel, the teammates from Fisher Racing Kraken, one cyan, one yellow, are about to have themselves a bit of an on-track battle by the look of it, unless one of them comes into the pit. Suggestion would be, now if one comes in, the other one's going to have to come in. They're both running exactly the same fuel level in two completely different cars. That is quite the way to do it. And that gap is really is closing in. Naskadashvili now within 7 tenths of a second. And Arda Erkan is looking very quick indeed. That was a wholehearted run over the curbs there from Grunwald, but it's done little to quell the pace of Erkan in that slipstream. And they've got a car. They make their way past the Ferrari. Erkan not able to make a move on the way in or out of turn number 1, but he's certainly looking quick indeed. The Hamilton straight potentially, the Wellington straight. If I was a betting man, I'd have folded money on that. Oh, very nicely done. Look at the way they throw the weight of those cars around. Yeah, some incredible things to do with the engineering, the Sentinel spring and the Peugeot for the suspension and many other cars. An absolute work of engineering genius. And here we go again. Oh, they've almost gone 3 wide. The Calic car almost becoming a kingmaker there. Oh, as Alex Siebel requests to come in at the pits from 2nd place in the hypercars, 4 seconds down. Arda Erkan, Sven Geelhood. And Geelhood is now only 9 tenths behind Grunwald, with Erkan in between them. Schneckenberger has got past Wassner. So while we've been watching this, Schneckenberger has got past Wassner. So that's now 2 places each they've made up. Schneckenberger in 5th, Wassner in 6th position. Oh, and that's some clumsy contact on the way, and he's rubbed on that rear quarter panel there. And that has left Tobias Grunwald almost stayed and barely up to speed coming on to the Wellington straight. And imagine there will be some strong words coming out of Tobias Grunwald's cockpit at the moment. That did look like he was a little bit far back, but we will let the stewards decide that. We only got a quick look at speed, but it certainly did look like Erkan was massively culpable for that, if we're being fair from the position, considering how far he came back from. As we see Geelhood just going past Joseph Teufel. Of course, in the Iron Dame Sports. How could I forget? He's been on the screen for most of the race so far. So too these two, Lukas Schneckenberger. And I tell you what, he is right on the back of Nicholas Holborn. This traffic is working absolute wonders for the entertainment value of this race. I don't think it's doing much for the strategists or the drivers' nerves, but it is certainly keeping every position well in contention. And Holborn now finds himself with a big pink Mercedes absolutely gunning him down. 2 tenths of a second is ahead into the pre-Hamilton straight chicane, and we've got another hypercar coming through, and it's one of the Team Nitro cars. And how, oh, there we go, yeah, how fortuitous it is that he manages to get past on the straight there. But yeah, Nitro on Nitro action. That is, of course, Tobias Grunwald going past. He's looking to make back one of the 4 positions that he's lost, dropping down from 1st place. Now finds himself down in 5th. Again, we'll see if he does take a pit stop. I think yeah, in fact, with 20 minutes left to go, I think they do need a bit of a splash and dash. Bachmeier certainly running at 43% and Butson at 41%. Fabian Roth on his way into the pits, he's at 40% as well, so that seems to be the marker that they need to make it to the end, certainly in the hypercars. The GT3s, some are at 30%, although Rancano and Lutzer down at 20%, so too Lamprecht, so you would think those two are going to have to pit, but we'll stay, or we'll try and stay focused on what's going on here. Let's get more Mercedes rear view mirror, there we go. So yeah, on board with Sneckenberger, you can see just how quick he is going. He is absolutely piling the pressure on Nicholas Holben, championship leader. He's had 6 wins from 8 races that he's taken part in, and if he's going to bring home a race win here, it's going to take an almighty effort. In fact, I think that's an impossible dream unless Marin Besser literally disconnects. Oh, and that's a big wiggle from Sneckenberger. That's not what he needed through what needs to be a fast-flowing set of corners. Well, it doesn't seem to be too detrimental. He still manages to pile absolutely on the back. I'm not sure if the Lamborghini's tyres are really starting to feel it here, but the braking difference between the two cars certainly seems to be extended, or accentuating, sorry. And Sasha Wassner definitely keeping in touch. I've lost my train of thought. Yes, Marin Besser is going to take an almighty turnaround for him to be beaten here today. 18 minutes left to go. He's got a 21 second lead, so that is just a fraction over a second a lap. He is quicker than the rest of the GT3 field. Stubenrink 6 seconds ahead of the hypercars, with a few of them looking to come into the pits. Robin Deschamps in 7th place, as we can see, requesting his pit stop. Siebel has got the request in, but hasn't come in yet. Stubenrink, I think, is going to be coming in pretty soon as well, as the energy and time runs down. Besser in first place in the GT3s, with Coinsel in second, Naskdasvili in third, Holben in fourth. We're on board with Sneckenberger in fifth, Wassner and Koifel sixth and seventh, Rancano up in eighth, with Lutzer in ninth, and Corbini and Wendell currently rounding out the top 10 in the GT3s. And hypercars, it is Stubenrink, Siebel and Erkan the top 3, with Geelhood and Grunwald 4th and 5th, Mitchie Hoyer in 6th, Mirak Party in 7th, Deschamps and Bischoff 8th and 9th, although Deschamps has just come into the pits, which puts Bischoff back up to 8th. Lucas Bachmeier rounding out the top 10 in the hypers, but Patrick Bachmeier behind him has taken his pit stop, so that is definitely going to be a positional swap there. And look how close Sneckenberger is getting once again. He really is closing up massively on the brakes. The Lamborghini getting these slightly better corner exits, but it's going to be too little too late very soon, I would say. Oh yeah, he is looking quick. Bounces himself off the curbs and onto the Hamilton straight once again, really using that exit curb to straighten up the car. 9/10 of a second separating these three still. And actually not losing much time to Naskdasvili ahead. That gap still sitting at a second as well. And in fact, yeah, they are massively closing in there, and Coinsel's being dragged into this battle as well, so it's going to be a grandstand run potentially into the pits for these drivers. There is Coinsel just making his way into the final couple of corners now, followed by teammate Naskdasvili. Of course, job one is to finish ahead of your teammate, everyone knows that. Nicholas Holben in 4th place still. Oh, and there is Wassner and Sneckenberger. Sneckenberger is absolutely looking the quicker out with these three drivers at the moment. He just cannot find his way past Nicholas Holben. Holben's been involved, Holben and most of the drivers on here that have been involved in quite the array of battles. And having watched a few of their streams, that's the crazy thing at this point in time. I bet Nicholas Holben is absolutely as calm as a coma. Oh, and there we go. That's Marco Bischoff, his teammate, just making his way through 8th position. He's currently running in. We'll see if he can make any positions back. Siebel still hasn't come into the pits. He's maybe waiting to do it at the same time as Stubenrink. He's stayed out once again. Wow, we've now got less than 15 minutes to go. Bachmeier and Bachmeier, I think, have they just swapped positions? Yes, they have. Patrick has gone past. He's taken his pit stop, so he has passed Lucas. Tim Flake 16 seconds down, but it's Schneckenberger that we are going to stay on board with. He's still got that Lamborghini firmly within his grasp. Let's have a look at the yeah, rear spoiler there. The Mercedes badge playing peekaboo behind the car and behind the spoiler as well. You can see that it's all getting done on the straights for the Lambo, but then on the brakes, he's gone full send up the inside. That is a brave manoeuvre. I didn't see if there was contact there, switching cameras, but it did look like a very, very bold move. I won't even say brave, we'll say a bold move there. To think Holborn was going to leave enough space with him coming from that far back, and that is Laster. He's had enough of this battle. He is going to come into the pits. 13 minutes left. 23 laps successfully done by the drivers in the threes, and that is him coming in. We'll see if the drivers around him decide to do the same, although some of them might well be going for no stop strategies. And in fact, I would say Hoban is one of those drivers. He's still got a quarter of a tank of fuel left, with less than a quarter of the race to go. Schneckenberger certainly not in that same position, so Hoban has absolutely got this one dialed in. Even if Schneckenberger gets past, he's not going to get enough of a lead, which he's going to do here into Chapel. Sails past and finally gets that move done. Although, has he overdone it on the brakes or underdone it on the brakes and killed his momentum? No, he's not. He's managed to hold on to that one, and Hoban now does find himself down in 5th place. But given the fuel situation, he's absolutely done what he needed to do. Keep him behind as long as possible and then just cruise past him when he pulls into pits, or just jump straight into the slipstream and keep on following him. There is Joseph Koifel and David Rancano having a battle just behind. Rancano now running up in 7th place, but could well be coming into the pits. Oh yes, 7% of his fuel tank left. Oh, and I'll tell you what, Besser 24 seconds ahead. Now his Lexus is definitely going to have to come in. Clemens Koitzel might not need to. Naskadas Vili might not need to either. A little bit of a stutter there from the Lexus. Almost bang on cue. And yeah, bang on cue. We're about to see a whole lot of hypercars come piling into the pits. They've all left it. Let the cars run as light as possible. Duchamp and Bachmeier, clearly the drivers that have been in. Marvin Butson as well. He is a minute down though as Butson, so he is going to struggle to make many positions back. But certainly Duchamp and Bachmeier are going to find themselves propelled further into the top 10. Rancano confirming that he is coming into the pits. And I'll tell you what, Schneckenberger is going to be following him in very soon. And Naskadas Vili is closing in on Koitzel. These two have both got full tanks of fuel, relatively speaking. 22% left each, which is incredible considering the two different manufacturers. For the two of them, the two teammates, to be on exactly the same fuel. That is incredible. The Lambo and the Merc certainly work differently through the gears. Ferrari, sorry. Certainly work differently through the gears. So yeah, some drive by them. 1.1 seconds is the gap there as more hypercars make their way through. Schneckenberger definitely closing in on Nastas Vili, but it's going to be all for naught if he can't get the car to the end of the race for lack of fuel. And Rancano on Koifel. That within the 3/10, and we've got one of the Arde Erkin, sorry, just making his way past them. Currently running in 3rd place. In the hypercars, with more cars in and out of the pits. Mitchie Hoyer has been into the pits, I believe. Yes, he has. He's back up to 7th place, and he's about to go past Marco Bischoff as we see Rancano. Oh, he thought about a move there, couldn't quite get it done. Now let's see what Mitchie Hoyer can get done on Bischoff. Bischoff comes into the pits. He's had a good recovery drive, but Hoyer, who's already been in, looking to get himself up to 6th place, and that will be, I was about to say sooner rather than later, given the way the traffic's running, but it will certainly be as soon as Bischoff comes into the pits. And Stiebenrauch does come in. So Stiebenrauch, there we go, he is, wow, very, very, very quick pit stop. Very quick pit stop. That'll have been for fuel only. Yeah, 23% he stopped up. This Siebel has done the same. Arde Erkan has stayed out. He is running that thing absolutely down to the wire on the fuel. Tobias Grunwald in and out of the pits already. Marco Bischoff requesting. Tim Flagg in and out as well. I did say we were about to see an absolute barrage of hypercars making their way through the pits, and that's exactly what's happened. A lot more energy out there. Bischoff, he's managed to run the tank down to the absolute bare minimum. He's going to have just under 1.5% of his fuel left. He is going to lose that position to Partey though, so that is Bischoff in. Erkan will be coming in. Oh, now it might have been a mistake to say out because he's got himself right involved in this traffic here. And that is the Mercedes of Schneckenburger going past Naskadashvili. So he's gone past him, but he's going to have to come in at the pits. He's got 3% left. Naskadashvili has got 17. So he needs to come in. Hoban is going to stay out by the looks of it. Sasha Wassner did have to come in the pit. He's the lead driver to have taken his pit stop in the GT3s. And he's currently running in 8th place ahead of Florence, Rancano, Bartolo, Lutzer, Melcher, Lamprecht and Oosterhuis. Sorry. So Wassner on the run at the moment. Wendell and the gang all look like they're staying out, and Besser, very quick turnaround in the pits. Is it going to be enough to maintain the lead? It is not, and Clemens Kreusel does take the lead of the race, and in fact Naskadashvili goes through as well. And I tell you what, the slow Besser could find himself overtaken by Nicholas Hoban here as well. It's all change on the podium in the GT3. 6 minutes left for Besser to work his magic. Just having a look at the time. Yeah, he was only stationary for less than 9 seconds. But that still meant a 31-second pit stop, so that has put him well and truly off the lead. He's now 3 seconds down on the race lead. He is right on the back of Naskadashvili though. I was looking to see. Oh, Schneckenburger's picked up a drive-through. Going through the pits. So Schneckenburger's violated the pit lane speed limiter. And he has picked himself up a drive-through. He's back out behind Wassner. That is going to cost him several places because Max Florence on those much warmer tyres is right behind him. Oh, devastating. That's going to give Rancano and Louis Barto positions each. I think Lutzer might even sneak one as well. So too Melchert. Stiebenrauch still leading the way in the GT3s, hypercars. He is of course in the hypercars. Goes past the one of the Fischer cars, and in fact that is our race leading GT3 Clemens Kreutzel for Fischer Racing. He is 5 minutes away from getting himself a race win here in round number 9. Oh, Manon Besser, we should have kept an eye on him because he's just got the overtake done. Or gets it done through the final couple of corners. So here's me already crowning Kreutzel this week's race winner. He's got 5 minutes to fend off a driver that's been a second a lap quicker than anyone else around here. Let's see, Besser 2 minute 0.0, Kreutzel's managed a 2 minute 0.7, so 7 tenths of a difference on their fastest laps. So you see it's certainly in favour of Besser. We're going to have 3 more laps, so potentially 2.1 seconds he can make up. Ooh, that's not going to be enough. That is not going to be enough. So yeah, going to be no stop strategy for the win in the GT3s. Everyone, of course, in the hypercars have had to come into pits. But that is Coinsel, Nascadasvili, Hoban, Koifel and Wendell all running no-stop races in the GT3s. That's absolutely the way to do it if you can. Yeah, absolutely go for it. The tyres, yeah, similar tyres going back on for all the drivers, so yeah, a lot of them not changing tyres of course up there. Let's see, Mitchy Hoyer, I've just caught sight of that. He's running in 7th place, so back at where he started, coming up to traffic once again. He's got me like party within a second. He was looking close there, and Erkan and Gielgud continuing their battle. They were together for the majority of the first stint of the race, got separated a bit now after the pits. They're back to within a second of one another once again. We'll see if these two teammates do swap positions. Lucas Bachmeier requesting a second pit stop. So something's not quite gone right for him there. Down the rest of the field. Oh, hope they've not got it wrong. There is a bit of a difference between what some of the drivers are carrying fuel-wise. Let's see, Coinsel, 2.4 seconds. He is still ahead. The car's all slotting back in to where they started. That is incredible. Right down until you get to Wasner, who has gained the position. Florence, Rancano and Barto have all done so. In fact, I believe Rancano was actually up 2 spots. He started in 11th position. So yeah, that not entirely accurate, I don't think. Schneckenberger, he is down to 11th place after serving that drive-through, and he's got 6 seconds to make up to Barto, so I can't see that one turning round anytime soon. It's going to be some kind of gargantuan error. Yeah, not too much of a gap there. I was just looking at Stubenreich, 4.7 Siebel, 19 seconds ahead of Gale, who has still got Arda Erkan buzzing around his rear spoiler in the closing stage. Bias Grunwald will be absolutely gutted. He was battling away for podium positions, and an unfortunate contact when the driver next to him locked up found him well off track before the Hamilton straight, and dropping down the order. It's cost him 4 places and a potential race win. Mitchy Hoyer looking for a late overtake in the race. 1 minute left to go, so this is the penultimate lap for these drivers, and it's going to be the last lap for where it's Coinsel. Right, okay, so he's still got... Oh, no, wrong button. He's just started this lap, so yeah, this is going to be his last lap. Justin Stubenreich is not going to be far from the end. In fact, he is coming round to... It's incredible the way they throw those things about. He's just coming at the Village Complex now, 37. So yeah, so he's got 28 seconds now left to go. That should just about be enough for him to get one more lap. Oh, there's going to be a few drivers. Oh no, they're all going to have a couple of percent of fuel left. They've all got that, the calculations absolutely dialed in. As you would expect. What have we got? 7-6. Oh no, he's not. This is going to be the checkered flag. So Justin Stubenreich, as far as I'm aware, the first race he's taking part in. And there he does. He does indeed have a weave before he gets to the line, and that will be the checkered flag for Justin Stubenreich, bringing home a race win. Alex Siebel in the hypercars finishing in 2nd place, and then it's going to be Sven Gielhud and Arda Erkan chasing one another across the line, weaving through some GT3 traffic, but it will be Gielhud who will hang on to the podium ahead of Erkan. Then it's Grunwald in 5th. Mitchy Hoyer will finish in 6th position, unless Party has got something to say about it. Hoyer did get that overtake done We'll get Coinsel in a moment or two crossing the line. Where is he? In fact, he is just coming around the last corner now, so we'll see what happens with Hoyer and Partey in a moment. But we will see our GT3 race winner, Clemens Coinsel, crossing the line to take the checkered flag ahead of long-time race leader Marin Bisser. No-stop strategy for the win, and David Nascadashvili will strengthen his claim for a run at the top three prizes with a third place. Nicholas Hoban finishing in fourth, and it's fifth place for Joseph Coinsel. Let's see what happens. Partey and Hoyer already into the pits. Sasha Waster had a very good race, but the pit stop is what's cost him a couple of positions there, but he will still finish in 7th place ahead of Corbinian Wendell in 6th position. Rancano finds himself finishing in 9th place, so gains a couple of positions on where he started. He finishes ahead of Louis Barto in 10th, and Lucas Schneckenberger, after serving that drive-through, finds himself down into 11th position. We'll get a full look at the results in a moment, but what another race that was. That was, of course, round number 9 of the Simverse Pro Series. Fuji, Spa, Paul Ricard, Portimao, Imola, Kota, Bahrain, Monza, now joined by Silverstone in that rear view mirror. We've got Sebring, Interlagos and Le Mans still to come. And of course, for each of the divisions, €2,500 of vouchers up for grabs. 500 for third, 750 for second, and €1,250 to spend at the Simverse.com website for P1 in both of the splits. Let's get back to here. As I say, we'll get the results up in a moment or two. Big shout out to Pixelcast as well. The overlay working an absolute dream once again. I'll be having a quick word with Chris when we finish tonight. Let's see if we can, in fact, or do in fact have this week's result. No, that still looks, that is very much the Monza flag. So the results not quite in at the moment, but we will get them up there. Remember, if you want to take part in any of the racing, 6 sims are covered. Assetto Corsa Competizione, Assetto Corsa AMS2 Race Room, F4s, let's go, Le Mans Ultimate and iRacing, all covered on the Low Fuel Motorsport website, so make sure you get over there and get yourself involved. 280,000 drivers signed up and taking part with a phenomenal license system to keep you in some well matched splits. So yeah, get yourself over, get yourself involved, and of course you never know, you might just see yourself up, whoops, in the top split. Apologies, completely wrong screen there, not sure where that one came from. Let's see if we do have the results. Not quite yet. Hopefully we get them in a moment or two, but yeah, confirmation. What we do know, Justin Stevenrock definitely bringing home the race win in the hypercars after a dominant performance. And some good points on the board, and in fact, oh yeah, they both have jumped in, so yeah. While we are waiting on the results coming up, let's have a word with both of our race winners. Apologies, I was that busy waiting on the results, I didn't see them. Oh, there we go, yes! Justin Stevenrock joining us. Apologies, Justin, I was that busy looking for the results, I forgot to look in the Discord. So yes, good evening, that was quite the race. Your debut in the series, I believe, and bringing home a dominant race win there, 6 seconds of a gap at the end. How was that one out there for you?
Oh, it was great, really. Like, when I saw Tobias kind of failed at the start, I just thought, yeah, okay, go around the outside, fuck it. Sorry for language.
Language, yeah, we don't do that here, thank you very much.
No, but yeah, then when I had to overtake, then I knew the Pug was way, way better than the Toyota, so I was easily able to pull a gap, and then from then on was just managing the gap, managing the energy to keep level with the guys behind, and then win.
Yeah, so I mean, balancing the energy, we saw a lot of the drivers running it right down to the end of the race in the hypercars before deciding to come in and take a pit stop. Was that a bit of a game of cat and mouse with you guys up at the front there? As you say, you were just managing the energy to match everyone else. We didn't see everyone come in until right at the end of the hypercar. So was there a bit of cat and mouse going on there with the drivers up at the front?
I think so. Most drivers saved, yeah, because we were so on edge with that one extra lap you could do, and obviously if you do an extra lap, you kind of know what your opponents do that don't do the extra lap. So I made sure to keep the lap we put on the same for most guys at the front, I guess. It was still a bit tight at the end with that, like 1 second after the race time had finished coming over the line, but I guess that's racing.
Yes, it is. It certainly is. I mean, you cut that one absolutely right down to the wire, which we'll love to see. Of course, next time out, we've got Sebring, which is quite the course. Are you going to be joining us for that one, and how do you fancy your chances there?
I don't know if I'm going to join for Sebring because I really hate the track, but we shall see.
Well, personal challenge from me, just show up. I bet you can do it. You'll do fine. Drivers with your skill, 2 or 3 practice laps, and you'll be quicker than I could ever hope for. So yeah, we'll see you next week, Justin, okay?
Yeah. Okay, thanks for commentating.
Yeah, absolutely love it. There we go, folks. Justin Stubenberg bringing home the win in the hypercars. And again, apologies for any offensive language used during the interview. The drivers do get themselves a bit excited. So we'll let them off just this once, but it will just be this once. Here we go. We'll be joined now by the winner in the GT3s, the no-stop strategy, bringing home the bacon, Clemens Keutzel. Bringing home what, well, for me certainly was a surprise one. I don't know how it was for you, Clemens. Did you think the win was on with the no-stop? Because Bessier was looking very quick up at the front of the field for the majority of the race.
No, we practiced, or I practiced the no-stop strategy a bit before the race, so I knew what I wanted to do. But around half of the race, we thought that Bessier might come out in front of us, or me, with this one stop and full push strategy. But yeah, it did pay out to save that much energy throughout the whole race.
Yeah, it really did. You brought home the race win in the top split. That's not too bad. I was going to ask as well, from a GT3 perspective, I mean, Silverstone is a fast-flowing track. We certainly saw, though, with the interaction with the hypercars, it certainly had a bit of an effect here and there with some of the battles that were going on. Brought cars closer, took cars further apart. What was your experience like tonight working with the hypercars out on track?
It was quite chill today, to be honest, because I just let every hypercar pass and save more fuel than fight it, and use more fuel, so every liter counted. And also I have to say the hypercars were more patient today, so it was more chill than the last weeks, I have to say.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, love to hear it. Love to hear it. And I was asking our winner in the hypercars, we've got Sebring next time out, Clemens. How are you feeling ahead of that one?
My hopes aren't too high. The Ferrari hasn't been strong lately on Sebring, but maybe after the latest patch, it's a bit stronger, or at least I hope so. So, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Sebring is a good track, and as a die-hard Ferrari fan, I hope they do the right thing in the patch and make the Ferrari the greatest car in the game, because it is the greatest car in the world, so therefore, that should be represented digitally as well, I feel. So, fingers crossed for you for next week, Clemens.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely welcome. There we go then, folks. That was Clemens Koitzel, winner in the GT3 class. Not too bad a showing at all, it has to be said. Completely, yeah, got it absolutely dialed in with that strategy. Absolutely no argument with that one. The no stop bringing home the race win. We should be able to get a quick look, hopefully, at the confirmed results. There we go, Silverstone. Oh, it's just going to jump on again. Perfect. But confirmation there. Koitzel ahead of Becer and Nascadasvili ahead of Hoban. Koifel ahead of Wendell, Wassner, Florence, Rancano and Louis Barto rounding out the top 10. Lucas Schneckenberger losing a position overall after having that drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. In the hypercars, oh, no, there we go, yep. Thought about it, here we are. Justin Stevenett confirmation in the Peugeot. Phenomenal Lego model as well, has to be said. Ahead of Alex Siebel, Sven Gielhud in third place. Erkan ahead of Grunwald. Michi Hoyer up to 6th place with Party Deschamps, Bischoff and Bachmeier rounding out the top 10 in the hypercars. So that hopefully means we've got ourselves... yeah, there we go. So the standings. Tim Flake up to 4th place. Arda Erkan in first. That might be a little bit of a change. There is penalties I see in the chat. Gielhud in 2nd. Siebel in 3rd. Flag and Petush not racing tonight in 5th. Bischoff goes up to 6th ahead of Wittig. Tobias Grunwald moves up to 19th. Michi Hoyer moves up to 17th. In the GT3s, Nicholas Hoban still has the lead of the race. It has been shortened slightly though. Joseph Koifel in 2nd with David Rancano in 3rd place. Nascadasvili up to 4th with Koitzel in 5th. Barto, Melchart, Wendell, Fritz and Fuchs still all in the top 10. Fuchs doing well to remain in the top 10 after that disconnect tonight. But yeah, it does hold on to that position. And yeah, with what have we got now? 3 rounds left to go. Where are we? My apologies. Yes, we've got Sebring, Interlagos and Le Mans. Of course, it's 100 minutes of Sebring. We've got 60 minutes of Interlagos and 145 minutes with time on times 10. So that is going to be a lot of day and night cycle for the drivers to deal with. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Huge thank you, of course, to Simverse for sponsoring the series and for LFM for putting it all on. Thank you to everyone for all the likes and subscribes in the YouTube chat on YouTube, and of course everyone following, subscribing, and everything else on Twitch as well. We hope to see you all again next week. We'll be back next Tuesday for more ACC. Until then, my name has been John Wright. Until next time, stay safe, take it easy, and have a great rest of your night. Good night.